Welcome to the web series, The Hero's Call, where champions of safety and justice in the community are profiled. The series is co-hosted by attorney Mark Diller and his colleague, Dr. John Naranja. Dr. John is both an attorney and a doctor.
Food insecurity amongst children is a big issue, especially since the pandemic. Today on the Hero's Call, we are welcoming Michael Kaplan, who is addressing that problem head on. Mike, welcome to the Hero's Call.
Thank you, Mark. Much appreciated.
Mike, do us a favor, please. Introduce yourself and tell us who you are and where you are.
Sure. My name is Mike Kaplan. I'm an attorney in Milford, Massachusetts. I've been in practice since 1989, and I run or am the chairman of the Summer Meals Program for the Milford Area Humanitarian Coalition.
What is the Milford Area Humanitarian Coalition?
The coalition is an embodiment, if you will, of our community's different organizations. So we have multiple churches, the police station, our representative is on there, the Lions, the Salvation Army, the Milford Bar Association. There's over 20 organizations that ultimately came together to coordinate their efforts. Instead of working independently and sometimes against one another in terms of what they may be doing for charities or for meals programs or things of that nature. So what we're able to do is bring everybody together, coordinate everybody's efforts to maximize how we give back to the community.
When did you start the Milford Area Humanitarian Coalition?
Well, I want to say we started that around 2013, 14. It was incorporated, and it took us a good year in planning before we were ultimately up and running.
Why did you start the Milford Area Humanitarian Coalition?
At one point, I was president of the Rotary Club, and the Rotary was looking to give back to the community. And we had identified that over 50% of students in the Milford area qualified for subsidized meals. And so we wanted to try to start doing a meals program every day, if we could, in order to give back to the community. Now, it was a much bigger project than we ever would have imagined. And it was too big of a task, honestly, to take on as one entity, as the Rotary or a Lions Club or something like that.
And then what is it that you do at the Milford Area Humanitarian Coalition to address the food insecurity issue for children who receive qualified subsidized meals?
Initially, we had a pilot program, I think it was back in 2015 or so, and we wanted to see if there really was a need. Milford is like a microcosm of Boston. We have quite a diverse community. We have a lot of Irish, we have a lot of Ecuadorians, we have a lot of Portuguese, we have people from the Arabic countries. I mean, we have a tremendous variety of individuals who attend the school systems there. And then we realized that not all students were obtaining meals during the summer. This became because if you qualified during the 9 months of the school year, what happened when there was no school? No school meant no meals. And that didn't sit well with me at all, if you will.
How many volunteers do you have?
It varies from year to year. We've had as high as 180 volunteers in a single year. The volunteers do all sorts of things, from either helping prepare the meals, advertising, playing or engaging the kids who come to the program itself, because it's just not a meals program. We want to get the kids involved in the community. So we have games and activities and other things that kids like to stay and do, particularly when it's hot out. You know, a lot of kids get to have the opportunity to go to summer camp. These kids are economically challenged and don't have that opportunity. And because they don't have that opportunity, we provide hours of activities if they want to stay to engage with our volunteers and or the other kids in the community as well.
How are you able to get, complete the planning to have the schools get involved to distribute the meals? What were the logistics behind that?
Yeah, that's a great question. We had to obviously involve the town leaders, the town selectmen, the school committee. There was a whole host of individuals that we need, the food service, because we wanted to serve at a school. We wanted to come at a neutral place, and it really was something, and a church. So we had a church and the school, and so we wanted a place where people didn't feel threatened. We have a huge issue here with people thinking that this is a governmental plot at the beginning to lure people in, because there are individuals here who are concerned about their citizenship and about being deported if they're found here. And that's not what we're about. We don't take names. We don't ask for IDs. We're all about serving meals to children. That's what this program is about.
Tell me how you were feeling, when this first started. You were kind of walking door to door, so to speak, and then you start to see this thing grow, and you're starting to serve more meals, and just like you said, starting out with just lunches, and then it grew to more than that. Tell me what that was like.
I've been involved over the years with multiple different charities, multiple different organizations, many events. This by far is my pride and joy, if you will. I take personal pride in it, not because it was my idea at the outset. It's because you can see it growing and the people in the community embracing it. And the numbers are just staggering. I mean, just real quickly, just to give you a couple of numbers here, in 2015, in our pilot year, we served 2,184 meals. We consider that a tremendous success. By 2016, the following year, we served 7,133 meals. The following year, we're up to 9,516 meals. The following year from that, we're up to 14,800. Following year after that, we're at 20-something thousand meals right before COVID hit. So each year we could see the community embracing what we were doing, and it was a tremendous success. We would report back to the school committee each year. They loved what we were doing. They allowed us into the school. You got to remember, they're allowing us to use the school in addition to other sites to use their space over the summer when typically the school is closed. So it was a partnership with the town of Milford, partnership with the Hockomock YMCA, and then our organization of community involvement.
How did obviously that growth is amazing. How did the development of this meal program change once COVID hit? Because there must have been some effect by the fact that, okay, now we have COVID, now how is it going to affect the meal program?
Well, there were significant effects, if you will, just like in every part of our lives that COVID has struck. Our program typically would ramp up around April. Letters would go out to various community entities, banks, things of that nature, requesting funds to businesses. Well, so by June, we were up and running. That was the typical program. And we would run for 3 months. However, this particular year, we got a call in March from the superintendent asking us to start the program up, saying, we got to shut our schools down. This is a pandemic. We're going to be closing within a week. And I'm like, within a week? I said, this process takes months for us to get going. So, we did sound the alarm, if you will, and it was a cry for help. We got our committee together. Our committee rallied with the Hockomock YMCA, with the town. Instantly, we started sending out requests for funding. But the safety of the personnel became paramount not just for kids getting meals. We had to make sure that people were safe who were serving the meals, preparing the meals. So first of all, no schools were open. Nobody is allowed into a school. We had to do basically a drive up and grab and go lunches. So now we had people with the PPE. We had to make sure that we had funding and of course, at the beginning of COVID, these products of masks and gloves were scarce. I mean, everybody went out and bought them. I mean, even hospitals were having problem getting supplies. But we knew there was a need in our community. We knew that we needed to not just simply say there's nothing we can do. I'd rather try and fail than never try at all. And so we were able, particularly with the YMCA, coordinating with the town, to really work out some great protocols. We followed the CDC, we followed Governor Baker's guidelines.
Right. So you also, I mean, you've also mentioned that you also have a active law practice. How are you able to balance, this sounds like this requires a lot of time. How are you able to balance your law practice with this organization that you're, providing these meals?
I will tell you that COVID had an impact on my law office. I spent most of my day actually trying to make calls to businesses, writing letters, sending emails for fundraising purposes, because we had to ramp up this program much quicker than we ever had to before. I was spending much more time, to be quite honest, fundraising and notifying people about the program than lawyering.
All right, Mike, what are we looking at here?
So the handsome devil in the middle with the tie is myself. And then around me are the Milford area. There's some of the volunteers, teenage volunteers, and a coordinator behind them. We had multiple coordinators. Interestingly enough, and I didn't notice this in the initial photo, but behind in the background, you see a woman with a baseball cap. That is the director of the Milford Food Service Program, Carla Tuttle, who helped coordinate the food. But in the foreground, you see all these volunteers. We have our own logo. That's the Milford area logo, Humanitarian Coalition, excuse me. And so these people, again, would greet children and parents or caregivers. They would seat them, help them get the meals if necessary, engage them in activities, programs. Sometimes kids felt alone, so it was good to have someone sit with them and have a meal with them, because again, this was about our community, not just about getting a meal. People could have got the meal and left, but that wasn't what this program was designed to do. It was designed to do more than just meals.
The logo on the t-shirt, what is on that logo, if you could explain it?
The logo is basically, if you can see it, it's a number of different sized figures to create a family and a sense of community, all reaching out in a circular fashion, because we're all working together and we're all trying to address and be one as a community. And that's why, and let me just add this, we also created a part of the meals program for cultural meals, meaning we would have meals designated that children who are from Ecuador or something like that, you would see, we would have something more related to their home country meals. And so we were embracing the culture of everyone's, background, because we want to embrace that. We want to accept that. We want to make that as part of our woven Milford culture, if you will.
Mike, what are we looking at here?
What we're looking at is, although we had a tremendous successful meal program from March to September, these meals were not included in our total of 105,795 meals served. These are bags of weekend meals. And what I mean by that is, on Fridays, kids could take a bag home to their family to bridge the gap from, if you will, Friday to Monday morning, because that became another issue. Once they left our program, what were these kids doing for meals over the weekend? So this literally became a weekend. We called it the backpack program. There's no backpacks. It's just a misnomer. But the idea is that each of these bags contain numerous meals for families that were in need of assistance.
Mike, what are we looking at here?
you're looking at one of the elementary schools that the town of Milford allows us to use. And what you're looking at is a typical lunch program where you see the people in the blue shirts are volunteers. The other individuals are students or siblings if they're not actually students and of age to attend the school system. And there's other volunteers there as well. Again, you can see some people eating, you can see some people engaging in activities or crafts. There's multiple things happening at the same time. This particular occasion, I can tell you because I see him in the background, Joe Kennedy was there. He came several times, rolled up his sleeves, served meals. He's actually right in underneath the circle in the top right corner. He's wearing the white shirt. And so he was phenomenal. The program was a success. When he came to the program, that really blew my mind and helped me validate what we were doing. For someone of that recognition and level of status in our state to come to Little Milford and the program that we had started, I really thought put a great rubber stamp on the success of our program. And so that's what this is. It's kids having activities, having fun, eating meals. That's what's going on here.
Great.
Mike, what's the future of the Milford Area Humanitarian Coalition? We know that the pandemic is continuing to affect so many. What are we looking at going forward?
Well, we're always looking to improve the program. We're always reassessing what we did last year and trying to move forward in a positive way. We never imagined that we would be serving the type of meals that we did in 6 months. But the future of the program is to continue what we've been doing in the past, continuing our advertising campaign, because although we've been very successful with our numbers going up, we know we're not hitting our entire community. We know there are people still scared of coming to programs like this. And so we're just trying to chip away at that, trying to get more people, get the word out. Advertising is key. Creating meals, again, that's socially and culturally across the board is important. Activities for the kids to make it fun for them to come. But the program or the entity is also looking, we do things for the seniors in our area. We're focused on the homelessness issue in our community. So we focus on other issues as well. And so that's a big part of our programming. I'm just the chairman of one particular committee, but there are other committees and other things that they try to do as well.
Mike, it's remarkable about what you've accomplished. 7,000 meals the first year, and now you're in excess of 106,000 and growing. You said something during the course of our discussion here today, I'd rather try and fail than never try at all. And I just want to commend you for continuing to try and to make a difference in the community and help attack the issue of food insecurity for our children and now for our families. So thank you so much for what you're doing to the community.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me on your show, Mark.
I appreciate it. Okay, be safe. Take care.
Thank you.